coming from a law enforcement family, there's 12 of us in my family. So it's almost like a tradition that badge, you know, the pride of having that in your family. And not only is it my tradition, but if you look at the whole history of policing, you know, so it's like military. They protect us from other societies, but the police are here every day doing the same thing, protecting us, taking care of us from those that want to take from us and do us harm.
So I always look at that badge as a part of my skin. It was a part of my heart. It was a part of my brain. It was a part of my name. My father used to say, "You don't own that Nestor name, Jim. It was loaned to you down through the generations." And I look at the badge that way.
With everything that the badge stands for, what happens to the officers that take this stance when their coworker pays the ultimate price of upholding the badge?
When is the time for the coworkers? You know, these guys are hurting. I mean, we'd be with them. And being a police officer and being at so many funerals, you just sit and see the depth of the emotion with these officers, you know, because if you're an officer, I don't care where you are, you know, when you hear an officer is killed in the line of duty, you feel it. We're human beings, and maybe people forget that. You know, we are brothers, we're husbands, we're fathers, we're sons. But when we do that job, we have to do what we have to do, and we push the emotions aside. But what happens when we come back and we have to go home to the families? We're human beings. You know, what do we do with that?
Work is work and home is home. But in this instance, it all came together. And that was something that, at first, it was hard to deal with. The initial phone call was extremely hard. I had a sense of guilt that I wasn't there the night that it happened. And that's something that I carried around with me for a long time. I just never dealt with. I just kind of suppressed it and bottled it up. It's like I always had an excuse not to think about it or not to just cry and let it out, because I always had to be strong, and I was okay with that. And it went back to that, just bottling everything up, and eventually it didn't work anymore. And
yet, just being the idea of who we are as police officers, we're that strong. We handle everything and we take care of everybody else. But my thing over the years, well, who takes care of these guys? If you get these guys together, they're going to talk to each other because they're going to feel safe.
Eventually, once I made it to the co-workers retreat and the siblings retreat, is when I was finally able to take the lid off that bottle and just let it explode in a safe environment. As a co-worker, it's hard because there's a constant reminder of what happened. At work, it seems like I think about it a little bit more because I have time to think about it a little bit more, whereas at home I don't allow myself the time to. And it's different for me, I feel, because being a police officer myself, we don't talk about tragic incidences. We don't talk about stuff that happens at work.
We knew that if we can get these guys together, we knew we could do some healing that's necessary, and that maybe we wouldn't lose any of these officers to maybe leaving the job, or even the extent to where they may take their own lives, which has happened over the years. And it started slow, but we got them together, and I mean, I can't tell you what it was like. I mean, you see them at the airport when they come, and you look at their faces. You just see that stare, and they're saying, "What am I doing here? What is this going to be? What's going to happen to me?" You know. And then you see them on that Monday when they go home. It's just amazing, the transition.
Well, initially when I heard about the co-workers retreat, I was a little skeptical, only because there was no way I thought that you could get 50 to 70 cops to talk about anything. I thought wholeheartedly that we would show up and we'd all sit in a room together and we'd just stare at each other until the end of the day, and then we'd go to our rooms and do whatever we needed to do. And I was completely surprised at how open everybody was, and how much everybody shared, and how there's so many people going through similar incidences that I'm going through. Co-workers it was about me healing and what I needed to do to make myself better. And that included my work, my marriage, my relationship with my family, and just my everyday life.
So here we have an opportunity to deal with that trauma, because you must deal with the trauma before you get to the grief. So we have that. Even in a short time, we're able to have them get that out, the trauma, and talk about it. And you just look in the room when they're talking, you just see the other heads of the other officers just shaking because they know. You just got to look in their eyes. You look in their eyes, and you know they understand you. After a while, you listen to them. They're going back over their career, and you sort of stop them and say, "Where are you?" And they'll be talking about things that happened 10, 15 years ago. And for the first time, many times we hear from these coworkers, they say, I have never told anybody what I'm telling you now. Healing is helping others, and that's part of what works with this organization, is that when you're there for someone else and listen to that story, you're healing yourself, you see, because you're listening and giving witness to someone. And at the same time, that sharing and giving is a part of the healing process. The co-workers retreat that is offered by this great organization is the beginning. It's the beginning of your healing. And you will meet people that you will have friends forever. The healing that takes place in that is just unbelievable. In law enforcement, that macho crap that has to be put out there. I'm strong, I can take care of everything. You can't take care of this. You need the assistance. You don't have to do it alone. You can't do it alone.
And it wasn't until we went to COPS last year that my life changed. Prior to going to COPS, life was good, but it wasn't great. And we wanted it to be great. I had a hard time expressing feelings and emotions with my wife and with my family, and I often got the whole, when you come home, you just don't have any emotions. And I think that as police officers, it's easier for us to just turn them off because we've been trained to do so, and we forget how to turn them on when we get back home. That's something that COPS has helped me figure out, how to turn that switch back on, to show emotions. And it's okay to express yourself, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to grieve with somebody and not by yourself in a bathroom or in a bedroom somewhere where no one can see you because you have that macho feeling and you don't want anybody to see you cry. Without the COPS retreats that I had been to, I don't think I would have gotten to the point to where I'm at right now.
For more information, contact COPS online at www.nationalcops.org or call 573-346-4911.